and those are the features of our C++. We don't have any these type of features in C language. Now, what are the new features related to functions in C++? Now we are going to see that one. Now come to the presentation. We have, as already we discussed this topic, array of objects in the previous session. Now, function overloading. So can anyone tell me what is function overloading? Function overloading.
Ma'am,
Yeah,
which has same name but different parameters.
which has the same name but different parameters. As Likit, correct. So function overloading means we are taking the same name, but we can differentiate the functions with the number of parameters and type of parameters. And already we discussed this topic in features of object-oriented programming. And this function overloading is related to our polymorphism. So what is polymorphism? Many forms. So we have a compile time polymorphism and runtime polymorphism. And come to compile time polymorphism, we have a function overloading and operator overloading. Did everyone remember this topic? Features of object-oriented programming. Manisha, ma'am, some are unable to join. So once I start the recording, so maybe it is not possible to join. Ma. I don't know what happened.
Auto admit, ma'am.
Yes, already I have an auto admitter. Is
Then
there?
people will join automatically.
Yeah, automatically they can join by clicking the link. That's it.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, uh, so we have a function overloading. So it is related to polymorphism. We have a compile time polymorphism and the runtime polymorphism. And come to compile time polymorphism, we have a function overloading and operator overloading. Then let's see what is function overloading. Already we discussed this topic in the first session only. This function overloading is related to compile time polymorphism. Means compile time polymorphism means when you are compiling the program, the function calling is related to that particular definition of the function. It is going to the particular definition of the function. So that is compile time polymorphism. Now what is function overloading? A function overloading is using a single function name to perform different types of tasks. Yes. So if you want to perform the addition of two numbers, whether it may be integer or float or double, anything, and by seeing the name of the function, I want to understand what we are going to perform in the function. Suppose I want to perform the addition of numbers. I want to take the function name as a add. So I want to perform the addition of add of integers float like that. So I want to take the same function name for the addition of two integer numbers, addition of float numbers, addition of double numbers. But it is not possible in the C language. It is not possible to take the same name for the number of functions. But come to C++, we have a facility. You can use the same name to perform the different tasks. So let's see that one. So we have a, suppose if you are taking the sentences, already we discussed this one. He is wearing a watch. So here watch is a word, some word, and we are using that word in different purposes. Now see these two examples. He is wearing a watch, and one more sentence, watch your actions. I'm going to watch your actions. So here in first sentence, watch is a noun. It is an item. Watch is an item and it is a noun. And come to second sentence, watch your actions. Here watch is a verb. But I'm using the word watch only. But in different sentence, the purpose of watch is different. Okay. So like that, coming to the programming language, I'm taking the void add. And the parameters we have int a comma b. Means I want to perform the addition of two numbers int a comma b. Then I want to take one more void add. I want to take the three parameters here int a comma b comma c. And the function name is same. You can see the example. The function name is same. I'm using the add function. But in first function, I'm using the only two parameters int a comma int b. But come to the second example, I'm taking the int a comma b comma c. I'm taking the three parameters. So how can we differentiate these two functions with the number of parameters? In first function, you are performing the addition of integers. In second function also, you are performing the addition of integers only. But we can differentiate these two functions with the number of parameters. In first function, we are using only two parameters. In second function, we are using the three parameters. Now, suppose we can see one more example here. Void add of float a comma float b comma float c. Now I want to perform the addition of three float numbers. Okay, three float variables. Now I want to take one more function. Now see these two, void add of int a comma int b comma c and void add of float a, float b, float c. The function name is same for these two functions, second one and third one. And parameters also same in the second example and the third example. Why? Because int a, int b, int c here, and here float a, float b, float c. I'm taking the number of parameters are same. But I can differentiate these two functions with the type of parameters. So in second function, I'm using the integers. And third function, I'm using the float. So I can differentiate these two with the type of parameters. So whether you are using the same name for the number of functions, but we can differentiate those with these two types, number of parameters and the type of parameters. I think already we discussed this topic in the features of object-oriented programming. Now, I'm taking one more here. Let us take the example part. So before that, what is the advantage of this one? So why we have to use the same name for the number of functions? Can we use a different name for the different functions? As we can use, but meaningfully, I want to take the function name. In that case, you need to use the same function name for the number of functions. So the main advantage of function overloading is to improve the code readability, and that allows you to you write the code reusability also. So if you want to perform the addition of integers, you need to write the function separately, addition of integers. If you want to perform the addition of float numbers, you need to write the addition of float numbers separately function in C language. If you want to perform the addition of some double, you need to write the double function addition separately. So like that, you need to write the number of functions if you want to perform the addition of two numbers with the different type of parameters and values also. But in come to the C++, we can reduce that number of functions into only one function, and that is possible with the same function name. So that is the code readability is there and code reusability is there. I'm using the same function name there. I can use the same function name. Someone is presenting the screen. Who is that?
Pranit, ma'am.
Yeah, close that one.
It's Pranit Kumar.
Pranit, please close that one. Is my screen is visible to everyone?
No, ma'am.
No.
Yes, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Because of some people, we have a problem. Hmm? No, is my screen is visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you seen the previous slide? I think.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So this is my previous slide. This. So we can see the number of parameters and the type of parameters like this. Okay. Now let us take the advantage of this function is code reusability and the code readability is there. Now we'll go to the programming part, how to write the function overloading. So what is the advantage of the code readability and code reusability using the programming part. Now let's go to the programming part, and I'm taking some notepad to explain the program. Now, so I'm taking some function header file include IO stream, and I'm using the using namespace. Yeah, and I'm taking some functions. Void let us take the int main. Okay, it is int main only. Int main. Then I want to perform some add function, add of some 2 comma 3. I want to take the addition of, so this is a integer addition. Then I want to take some add of some double values, double or float, or you can take the float also. So this is the, then I want to return some.
Ma'am, you forget semicolon. Second that.
Yeah, okay, thank you. That is the observation. Yes, good, ma.
Thank
While
you.
writing the program only, you need to observe each and everything, whether I'm writing this correct statement or not. Yes, good. Now come to the function definition. I'm taking the add. I'm taking the int a comma int b. So I want to perform the addition. Simply I'm printing the like this. Addition of, I'll ask the notes at last of the class here today. So be prepared with that. Addition of 2 int numbers. I'll ask everyone to show me the notes. This a plus b. Simply I'm closing the function. Now I have one more function to perform the addition of double. Okay, so you can write that void add. Now you can see that it is a double. I think I'm taking the double here. Double a comma double b, and I'm going to print the result. Addition of 2 double number. And I want to perform the a plus b, and I'm using the same variables a b. So it is a local scope. I think function scope. Did you remember the scope of the function, scope of the variable? If you remember that one, so you can understand this one. I'm using the same a b here, and I'm using the same variable name a and b here. So the scope of this AB up to here itself, and the scope of this WAB is up to this particular function only. So it is the function scope. Okay, and I want to take this here /n separately, and then here also I want to take the /n, or you can use the endl also. Yesterday I told that how to use the endl. I'm closing this function. Okay, so this is a simple normal C++ program, not the class program. You can write the function overloading in the class program also, and that is the assignment for you. You need to write the function overloading using classes. Okay, now I want to run this code. First I want to copy this into the online compiler. I'm taking the online compiler here. Yeah, so here I want to copy this one. So is my screen is visible to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, good. Now, so this is my program. Now try to run this program. Did any mistake in the program or not? Let's run the program. I think we have some error here. What is that? Int 2 comma 3 and was not declared in the scope. Yeah, okay. So when you are using these particular functions, I need to take this. Uh, Suppose I will write the declaration also. Here before main, I want to write the declaration of a function. Okay. I want to take the double also. Declaration of a function. So when you are using the functions, we have a function declaration, that is prototype, function call, and function calling function called function. That is a function definition. I try to run this program. Now you can see the values here. So addition of two integer number is 5 and addition of two double number is 8. So here I'm passing the add of 2 comma 3. So it is going to the addition of two integer numbers. Why? Because I'm taking the 2 comma 3 means those are the integer values. So it is going to the add of int a comma b and it will perform the addition of two integer numbers a plus b and simply you are getting the result here 5. Now suppose if I'm calling the add of 4.5 and 3.5. Suppose I'm using the double here. So it is going to the double function definition like this. So based on the values, whether you are passing the integer or double, so it is going to the particular function definition. So like this, we can write the function overloading. Is this clear, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, ma. Now you can. So this is a function with the same number of parameters, but with different type of parameters. Now you can observe this particular program. I'm using the only two parameters. I'm using the add of int comma int. So two parameters and add of double comma double. I'm using the two parameters. But I can differentiate this function, these two functions with the type of parameters. So in first function, I'm using the addition of two integers, and in second function, I'm using the addition of two double numbers. So this is the function overloading. Okay. Now, do you have any doubts here up to here? Anyone?
No, ma'am.
Yeah. You can post the answer in chat box also. I can see that one. Okay. So this is the function overloading. Now, what is the next? We have a topic like default arguments to the function. Default arguments to the function. So what is the default arguments in a function? How can we use that default argument? Now you can see that one. A default argument is a value provided in a function declaration that is automatically assigned by the compiler. That will be assigned by the compiler automatically if the caller of the function does not provide a value for the argument with a default value. Suppose I'm taking the addition of a comma b. This I'm passing only two values, add of 2 comma 3. But in function definition, I'm taking the three parameters. Actual parameters are only two. But come to the formal parameters, I'm using the three parameters. So in that case, you're not passing any third parameter, but how can the compiler can take the third parameter value? So in a function definition, you need to declare that value as a value with the 0. Now you can see this one. So this is the example. So I'm taking the main function, sum of 10 comma 15. I'm passing only two parameters. These are the actual parameters. And come to the function definition, int sum, same function definition. I'm taking function definition, int x, int y, int z. I'm taking one more extra parameter here. I'm passing only two parameters, but in function definition, I'm taking the three parameters. So int x value. What is the x value here? So x value is assigned with what value?
10,
Yeah, 10. What about y value?
15.
50.
Yeah, but I am not taking the third parameter in the sum of 10 comma 15. After 15, I am not taking any parameter. But in function definition, I am taking the three parameters. You can see this one, x, y, z. But what is the value I have assigned here for the z value here? It is a 0. So suppose if you are not passing the third parameters in the calling function also, you can take the extra parameters in the function definition, but you need to assign those values with some value. Suppose I'm taking z equal to 0. So this type of function is called as a default argument. You're not passing the parameter, but I'm taking the default parameters. So what is that one? So that z value is assigned with the 0. Then I want to perform the addition, x plus y plus z. So what is the x value? Sorry. What is the x value? 10. And what is the y value? 15. And what is the z value? 0. So what is the result of x plus y plus z here?
25.
25.
Yeah, 25. So why? Because I'm taking the z value as a 0. So why? Because it is the default argument. I'm not passing the parameter in the actual parameter here. So z value is assigned with 0. So 10 plus 15 plus 0 is a 25. So like this, we can take the default arguments also. And suppose if you want to take the, you can overload this default arguments also. Suppose I'm going to take the programming part, how to write the function overloading with the default arguments. I'm going to remove this one. Now let's take that. So using namespace std. Okay. Now I want to take the function main function. Okay. Now I want to write some code here. I want to print the what is that one? I want to perform some addition. Sum of, I want to pass the parameters 10 comma 20 or some 25, no, or 50, no problem. You can take any values. Then I want to take the new line also, or I can use the endl also. Then I want to take one more function, same function, sum, but I want to take this different parameters. That is 10, 15, and some 20. I want to take this some endl. I want to take one more function, cout, sum of. Then I want to take some 4 parameters, 10, 15, 20, and some 25. Okay, so I'm taking the endl. So I'm taking the 3 functions, sum of 10, 15, sum of 10, 15, 20, sum of 10, 15, 20, and 25. Okay, I'm closing this particular main function with the return statement, return 0. Okay, completed. My main function is completed and calling the sum function in main function with the number of parameters 10, 15, 10, 15, 20, and 10, 15, 20, and 25. Now come to, I want to write the code for this one. I want to write the code for this one. So in function overloading, we are using the same name number of times. Okay, you are writing the addition of 2 numbers. You need to write the separate code. And addition of 2 float numbers. You need to write the separate code. But I can write only one function for these all functions. Why? Because I am passing the all values as a integer values here. So I am taking the function here like int sum, and I'm taking the formal parameters, some x, y. Now see here, up to xy, you can see this sum of 10, 15, sum of 10, 15, 20, and sum of 10, 15, 20, and 25. So what is the minimum number of parameters in all the functions here? What is the minimum number of parameters?
10, 15.
Yeah,
2.
count is 2. So minimum number of parameters are 2. So I'm taking the int x into y here. And remaining here, suppose if I want to call the sum of 10, 15, 20. Okay. So in that case, I'm taking some value here. Int some z equal to 0. I'm taking the default parameters. And int some what value I can take the c equal to 0. Okay, why? Because maximum number of parameters here you are taking the 4. So you need to take the 4 parameter function definition. That is the case, that is the condition. So when you are taking the number of parameters here with the same function name here, so what is the maximum number of parameters with the function here? 4. So you need to write the function definition with the 4 only. Okay, not the 2 or not the 3. So you need to take the 4 formal parameters in the function definition. And now you can see this one. I'll write the code here. And I want to open this function. You can write the code here. I want to return the value. Why? Because I'm taking the cout statement. If you're not taking the cout statement and return type here, simply you can print the value here itself. Or I will show that also. Okay, I will show you that also. But listen first. So return, I want to return the value x plus y plus and z plus, what is the last value? C. Like this. Okay. Now this is a function overloading with the default parameters. Now what happened when you are compiling this program? Let's see. I'm going to run the program. Yes, was not declared. As I have to take the function declaration. Every time you need to take the function declaration. Don't forget that one. So I'm taking the int sum of int 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 with the sum z equal to 0 and int sum z equal to c equal to 0. Now as the value you are getting 3 given means this. Okay, I need to write int sum of int int sum of, I have to write only 3, but here it is taking the I think it is not supporting here. Yeah, and some overload ambiguous. We have an ambiguous here. Mm. Take a minute. I'm running this code. What error we are getting here? Some was not declared. Then I declare this one.
Ma'am, you forget semicolon.
Where
Last second line, maybe.
what's the second line?
Mm. Line 13, ma'am.
Line 13. No, it is a function definition, na? For function definition, don't use a semicolon. Function declaration, we have to use the semicolon, not in the function definition.
Okay,
So
ma'am.
that's not the error here. So we have a parameters with the number of parameters is confusing that. So how to take the parameters here? So sum c equal to 0, and here we have a parameters. Yes, it's correct. But what happened? Just now I have executed this one. Why it is not getting the answers here? Let's try to pop this up. Yeah, so I can get the answer here. Now you can see, so without declaration of function also, simply before main first write the function definition, then you can write the main function. So like that also we can get the answer here. Now see this one. What is the answer we are getting? 25, 45 and 70. So I'll write the clear explanation. So this is two numbers. I'll write the two numbers addition. This is three numbers. I'm passing the three parameters. So three numbers addition. And here I'm passing the four numbers. Four number addition. So this is the, now I want to run the code once again. See the output clearly. Yeah, you can see here. The two numbers addition is 25. Why? Because I'm passing the values here. So what are the values of two numbers parameters? 10 and 15. So what is addition of 10 and 15? 25. You are getting the two numbers addition is 25. Then next we are passing the 10, 15 and 20. Three parameters. So what is the addition here? 10, 15 and 20. So that is the addition of three numbers is 45. Then we have a addition of four parameters 10, 15, 20 and 25. So the addition is here 70. Of course, we are getting the answers. But what happened when you are taking the default arguments? Now see here, I am taking the 10 and 15 parameters. So when you are calling this function with the 10 and 15, so that those values will be copied into the x and y. But I am not passing the third and fourth parameters. In that case, the compiler takes that z value with the 0 and c value with the 0. And it is going to perform the addition with 10 plus 15 plus 0 plus 0. So what is the addition in that case you are getting? It is a 25. Now you can see that one. I'll write the code before this one statement. I'm writing some code. So what is the z value and c value when you are taking the addition? So I want to print dot value also. So z and c values. So when you are calling the individual, when you are calling the function, what are the values of z and c? I want to print that also. So z value, and I want to take some space. Then what is the c value? I want to print the c value. So take the NL statement. Now try to print, try to run this one. Now you can see here answer Z and C value is 0 and 0. When this value is 0 and 0, when you are passing the two parameters, you can see this one, two numbers, x value is 10, y value is 15, and the Z and C value are 0, 0. Then when you are calling the sum of 10, 15, 20, I'm passing the three parameters. Now x value is 10, y value is 15 and z value is 20. Now you can see here, z value is 20 and I'm not passing the fourth parameter. In that case, c value is, compiler takes the c value as a 0. So that is the addition of three numbers is 45. Now you can take the sum of 10, 15, 20 and 25. I'm passing all the parameters here. Now in that case, the compiler will not take the default parameters. If you are passing the parameters, the values will be copied with your actual parameters. In case if you are not passing the parameters, then the default values will be copied into the compiler, copied by the compiler. Now you can see this one, 10, 15, 20 and 25. I'm passing all parameters. So x value is 10, y value is 15, and what is the z value? 20. You can see here, z value is 20. And what is the c value? 25. You are passing that parameter value also. So the c value is 25. So four numbers parameters addition is here 70. So if you are not passing the parameters, the compiler is assigned with the 0 value. So like this, you can take the function definition like this. Now is this clear everyone? Do you have any doubts here?
It's clear, ma'am.
Yeah.
It's clear, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. So this is the function overloading with the default argument. Now you can see here, I'm not writing the sum of 10 comma 15 function separately. I'm not writing the sum of 10, 15, 20 function separately and sum of 10, 15, 20, 25 function separately. I'm using only one function. I'm using only one function definition with the default parameters. So how to write that one? You need to note this point here. So when you are taking the function default parameters like this, so what is the maximum parameter function? So it is the 4. So you need to write the function definition for the 4 parameters here. Okay, and with the remaining function parameters, you need to take that value as a 0 and 0. So yeah, in case you are passing 10 and 15, and remaining parameters will be 0. And if you are passing the 3 parameters and the 4th parameter is assigned with the 0. So like this, you can take the function overloading with the default arguments. Is this clear, everyone? Okay. Shall we go to the next topic?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Good. Now, I'm taking the next one, that is constructor. Constructor. So what is constructor? Why we have to use the constructors in C++? We don't have any constructors in C language. We have a constructors in object-oriented programming language like C++, Java. In Java also we have a constructors. Okay. So what is a constructor? By the seeing the word, you can analyze what is the meaning of constructor. It is going to construct something. So what constructor do in the program? It is going to what happened in the program when you are using the constructor. Now see this one. Constructors are a special member function of a class. Why we have to call the constructors or special member function? Why? Because the name of the constructor is like a class name. Suppose if you want to take the, if you want to read the values, I'm taking the function name as a read. If you want to display the values of a data members, I'm taking the display function. Suppose if I want to perform the addition of two numbers, I'm taking the add. So you are taking the different function names. But when you are taking the constructor name must be a class name. So if you are using the class name as stud, you need to take the constructor name as also stud only. So that's why we are calling the constructors are a special member function. Why? Because the class name as well as the constructor name must be the same. So whatever the name you are taking in the program for the class, so that class name must be included in the constructor also. So that is the specialty of the constructor. Then what is the use of this constructor? So why we have to use these constructors in the object-oriented programming, which is used to initialize the values of an object. What is the object consist of? What is an object actually? What is an object? Bhavana, 512, Kasangani Bhavana. Can you tell me what is the object, ma? Are you there? If I'm asking some question, if you are not responding, simply I'll put the absent. Already I told that in previous class. Why? Because simply you are logging into the meeting, you are putting the mobiles aside and you are going and simply you are doing your works. So if it is the case, you cannot understand the language. So yes, Bhavana, tell me. Yes, tell me what is an object? What is an object?
Physical representation of a class.
Okay, it is a physical representation of a class. What object consists of? What is an object consist of? What are the values in the object?
Variable of type class.
What?
Variable of type class.
It is a variable of type class. Now, Ramya, please don't say, please calm. So I want to ask the Bhavana only. So tell me, what is an object consist of? What are the values in the object? Variables. Can you elaborate that one? We are not using a term variables in the class. We are not using the terminology variables in the class. So what are the terminologies when you are using the class? What is an object consist of? What is an object consist of? Dheeraj Reddy, rule number 2. Dheeraj Reddy, can you tell me what is an object? What is an object?
It contains class data.
Yes, it contains class data. Okay. Can you elaborate that one? What is the data means? What is the data means?
Which we represent in class that can be calculated in with this object.
Of course, is correct. But what are that one? Exactly, you are not telling the definition. What is an object? I want the exact definition of an object. Uh, Rohit, 511. Can you tell me, ma, what is an object? Bhavana, it's not attributes. Here we are called, okay, it is a collection of attributes. But in terminology of class, what is the attributes? In terminology of a class, in terms of class, what are the attributes? Okay, good. What are the attributes in the class? 511, Rohit, are you there? Are you there, Rohit? Or simply you are putting the mobile aside and you are going somewhere? So why I am getting only 58 people in the class, ma? So the strength of A section is I think 50 and C also 50. In that case, we need to get 100 people, but only 58 people in the class.
Ma'am, 60, ma'am.
What?
60 is our class strength, C section.
60 is the C section class strength. What about A section?
58, ma'am.
Then what is the total strength in that case? Minimum 100 people I want, but only we are getting only 58 to 60 people. What about the remaining? I don't know what happened. Yes, Bhavana Scientist. Yes, data members and member function. Yes, Bhavana, is good. So, object consists of data members and member functions of a class. We are declaring the data members and member functions in the class. And object is also a collection of data members and member functions. Already I have told that what is the difference between the class and object in the first class itself. Class is a collection of data members and member function. An object is also a collection of data members and member function. But the difference between the class and object is class is a logical one. It is only planned. The memory will not be allocated. Object is the physical one and the memory will be allocated whatever you are declaring the class, those data members and member functions. Okay, so what is the constructor which is used to initialize the values of an object? So if you want to assign the values to your data members and member function, you can use the constructor. Using constructor, you can assign the values. So after the storage is allocated to the object, the values will be initialized to your object. So when you are creating the object, memory will be allocated, means the storage will be allocated. After storage is allocation completed, then you can initialize the values to your object. So that is the use of the constructor. So it constructs the values of a data members of a class. So that's why we are called it as a constructor. Means construct means assigning or initializing. So we are declaring values to the, or we are initializing values to your data members or member functions of an object. Then it is called as a constructor. It constructs the values of a data members of the class. So it is called as constructors. Shashank, objects are instance of class that holds data variables, data members and member function. Yes, ma, correct. It's correct. So now what are the specialty means characteristics of a constructor? So you can see the characteristics of constructor. They should be declared in the public section. Why? Because it is also member function. Constructor is also a member function. And how to call the member function using object. So when you are calling the function with the object, and it must be declared in the public section. If you are calling the function means that function must be declared under public only. If you are not calling the function without object, you can declare that in the private also. But when you are calling the function with the object, that is object name dot some function name, in that case that function must be declared within the public section. So in the constructor also, if you want to use the constructor, they should be declared in the public section. Why? Because when you are creating the object, automatically the constructor will be called. When you are creating the object, automatically the constructor will be called. Means in that case, you need to declare that constructor function in the public section only. Then they do not have a return type, not even void, and therefore they cannot return values. Now suppose if you are taking the read function, I can take the void return type. If you are taking the display function, I can take the void return type. Suppose if I want to return the values to the function, in that case, int add of 10, 15. Like that you can take the values. Okay, int add of 10, 15. I'm performing the 10, 15 addition, and I'm returning the value to result to the function calling. So like that you can take the function return type. But come to the constructors, we do not have any return type. Even void also. So in that case, if you not have any return type, then you cannot return any values also. So we do not have any return type, even void also, and therefore they cannot return any values to the functions. So this is the second characteristic. And next we have constructors. Constructors can be overloaded. Just now we have seen that what is overloading, function overloading, and what is the default parameters. So like that you can use in the constructors also. Constructors can be overloaded. Okay, and you can use the default parameters for the constructors also. And next they have default arguments. Just now I have said that. So they have default arguments also. You can overload the constructor and you can take the default arguments for the constructor also. And we cannot inherit the constructors into the derived class. So what is the inheritance actually? We can inherit the properties of base class into the derived class. But you cannot inherit the base class constructors into the derived class directly. But you can derive. But how to derive that constructor into the derived class? We have a special syntax. We have a special syntax to call the constructor of a base class using the derived class object. We have a special syntax to acquire the constructor of a base class to the derived class. So these are some of the characteristics of a constructor. So what is constructor? So constructor is used to initialize the values of an object after the storage allocation. And it is a special member function. Why? Because the name of the constructor is class name. So if you are taking the class name as a student, you need to take the function name is also, constructor name is also a student. So if you are taking the class name as a add, you need to take the function name, constructor name is also a add. Then come to the, I want to take the notepad and I want to tell something here related to this one. I'm using notepad and deleting this one. So we have a type of parameters here. Or simply I can write here, no problem. I'll take the So we have a type of parameters, type of constructors. So what are the types of constructors? What are the types of constructors? So we have a, my screen is visible to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So we have a types of constructors. So what are the types of constructors? So we have one thing, first one, default constructor. Default constructor. And second one, we have parameterized constructor. Means we need to pass the parameters to the constructor. Parameterized constructor. And next we have copy constructor. This is the third type of constructor. This is a copy constructor. So these are the type of constructors. So that is parameterized constructor, default constructor, parameterized constructor, and the copy constructor. So again, in parameterized default constructors, we have two types of constructors in the default constructor. That is system defined default constructor. That is a compiler can return that constructor. Compiler can write that one. So compiler. System defined means compiler. So if you are not defining any constructor, compiler takes the default constructor. Means system can take the default constructor. So there is a system defined default constructor. And second one, we have a user defined default constructor. Either you can define the constructor, or if you are not defining any constructor, the compiler can write that code here. So that is the user. Second one, user defined default constructor. So these are the types of constructors we have. So types of constructor: default constructor, parameterized constructor, and the copy constructor. Again, in default constructor, we have a system defined default constructor and user defined default constructor. Now, in default constructor, we don't have any parameters. Simply you are writing the program, you are writing the constructor. But come to the parameterized constructor, you need to pass the parameters. Suppose if you want to perform the addition of numbers, I can take the void add, and you cannot take the parameters in that case. Simply declare the variables in the add function. You can perform the addition. That's it. Suppose if you want to pass the parameters, we have different types of functions. With parameters, without parameters, with return type, without return type. I think already aware of this one. Did you remember this concept? With parameters, without parameters, with return type, without return type. In C language, we have a concept like this. Yes. Sai Charita, time up. Yes, of course, time up, but you have joined at the 9:45 now. So I will end up the class at 10:45. Okay, now, so these are the, so we have a function with the number of parameters, with return type, without return type, with parameters, without parameters. So like that, constructor may or may not take the parameter. So if you want to take the parameters, you can take the parameters. If you are not taking any parameters, then that constructor is called as a default constructor. And what is the third type of constructor here? Copy constructor. Now, let's see one program, this one. Let's see about the constructor. So I am taking the simply yes. Then I'm taking the class here. I'm taking the class name A. I'm writing the one variable int x. Then I'm taking the public access specifier. Okay, public access specifier. Simply I want to display the value of this 10 using some function. So I want to display the value of this one. Cout x is. You can bring the x value. Then close the function, and I'm closing the class also. Then I'm taking some main function. In main function, I'm creating the object for the class A. So class name is here A. I want to create the object. So what is the syntax to create the object? Class name space object name. So class name is here A, and I'm taking the object name as obj. So this is the creation of object. Now I want to call the display function. Okay, I want to call the display function to print the value of x here. So before that, just I want to assign the value, because x value till now I have not assigned. So x equal to 10, and in the same function I'm assign some value and I'm printing the same statement in the same function, assigning and displaying the values in the same function. Now I want to call the function obj dot display. Obj dot display. Now I'm taking the return 0. Now, so when you're taking this function, I'm not taking any constructor. You cannot see any constructor here. I'm not writing any constructor here. But if you are not defining the constructor, the compiler takes the default constructor, system defined default constructor in the program. So how can the constructor, compiler takes the system defined default constructor. So what are the characteristics of a constructor? When you are creating the object, automatically the constructor will be called. So I'm creating the object in this particular statement. So in main function, I'm creating the object here. So this is the creation of object, isn't it? So this is the creation of object. So when you are creating the object, automatically the constructor will be called from the class. But I'm not declaring any constructor. So how the compiler takes? I'm not defining, but what compiler assumes that what compilers write the code for this one. So the constructor name must be a class name. What is the class name here? A. So it will take the A and it open the parenthesis and close the parenthesis. Simply open the braces and close the braces. So the compiler returns the code like this. This is the system defined default constructor. So this is the system defined default constructor. I'm not writing any constructor, but this code will be written by the compiler when you are not including the constructors in your program. I'm not writing the code, but the compiler write that the code as a system defined default constructor like this. Now try to run this program here and copy this one and go to the online compiler. I'm simply copying this one. Now I'm not, I'm putting this one in a comment lines. I'm using the comment lines. If you are using comment lines, the particular code will not be executed. Okay. Now try to run this program. So what happened? So this is the X. Okay. Now run this one. Simply you are getting the result X is 10. That's it. Just we are assign the value and we are printing the X value. Now let's remove this one. Run the code. Again, you are getting the result X is 10. Means when you are not using the constructors in the program, the compiler returns the constructor code. So what is the code like this? Simply it doesn't take any statements in the constructors. Simply just it is taking the constructor name and open the braces and close the braces. That's it. We don't have any statements in the constructors. So this is the system defined default constructor. So when this constructor will be called, when you are creating the object, automatically the constructor will be called here. Then remaining functions will be called with the object. You cannot call the constructors separately. If you want to call the display function, how to call the display function? Object name dot display. You need to use this syntax. But if you want to call this constructor, there is no special syntax. But how the constructor will be called? When you are creating the object in the main function, automatically the constructor will be called. When you are creating the object, automatically the constructor will be called. So this is the constructor, and this is the system defined default constructor. Now, what is user defined default constructor? Is this clear, everyone? What is the system defined default constructor?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, good. Thank you, Mumtaz. Every time I'm getting the result, reply from you only. Now, how to take the user-defined default constructor? Default constructor means we do not have any parameters. So we have two types of default constructor: user-defined and system-defined. So this is the first program with the system-defined default constructor. When you are not writing the constructor code, automatically the compiler writes the code like this: class name followed by the open parenthesis, close parenthesis, open braces, and close braces. So this code will be written by the compiler. Now I want to write the code. Now I want to use the constructor. Means user defined default constructor. I want to use the constructor. Now in that case, I want to write the code. What is the use of the constructor? What is the use of the constructor? It is used to initialize the values to data members of an object. So what are the data members in my class? I'm taking only some X. I'll show in some notepad. So this is the system defined default constructor. Then what is my data member here? X is my data member. I want to assign some value. So in display function, I'm assigning some value to the X value. Now instead of this display function, separate function using constructors. Suppose if you want to read the values of data members like roll number and name, you need to take the read function separately. If you want to read the values to your roll number and name, you are taking the read function separately and you are assigning some values. So that is our function. Void read is our function. But we have a system function that is the constructor. Now I want to assign the values using that one. So I am assigning the value here x equal to 10. Now I'm writing the code. It is not a system defined now. So it is a user defined. Why? Because I'm writing the code for the constructor. In system defined default constructor, we don't have any statements in the constructor. But come to the user defined default constructor, you can say explicitly you can write the system defined default constructor and you can write the code for that also. In that case, it is called as a user defined default constructor. Okay. Now I'm assigning some value x equal to 10. Okay, now try to compile this program now. So previous, I'm not writing the code for the constructor, but now I have written the code for the constructor, and the use of the constructor is used to initialize it. So I'm assigning some values to your x. So that is the use of the constructor. Using constructor, you can assign some values to your data members. Means you can initialize the values to your data members of an object. What is an object consist of? Data members only. So you can assign the values to your data members. Now try to run this one. Again, simply we are getting the x equal to 10. So we are getting the results with the user defined default constructor or the system defined default constructor. Is this clear, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Do you have any doubts up to here? Lakshmi, Sabika, no, Amrin, no, madam. Okay, ma, but you need to understand the concept. Is my lecture is clear to everyone, or do you have some difficulties? You are facing any difficulties?
No difficulties, ma'am. It's clear.
Yeah, okay. But every time I am getting the reply from only one people. I want the reply from different people, ma'am. It is not a face-to-face. It is not offline. It is online only. You are not going to show your face in this one. Simply just give me the reply in chat box, or you want to reply in by talking with me. Please give the response to me. Okay. Yes. So what is the assignment for today? What is the assignment for today? While explaining the concept, already I have told that what is the assignment for today. Did
Function
everyone?
overloading.
Yes, yes.
Function overloading problem.
Yes, good, Vanilla. Very good. Vanilla. So it is a function overloading. I have explained the program with the normal C++ program. Now you need to write the function overloading using classes. How to write the overloading using classes. So that is the assignment for you. And before tomorrow's class, means no, I will give the time. Before 8 a.m., same like today's only. So before 8 a.m., you need to submit the assignments. Before tomorrow 8 a.m., you need to submit the assignment, and the assignment is here: function overloading using classes. How to write the function overloading functions in the class. And the second one, default arguments. Default.
Ma'am,
Time for another class, ma'am.
Yeah, okay.
ma'am,
Yeah, okay.
class.
Yeah, okay, okay. I'll put the assignment questions in the group. You can see that one and reply to that one. Okay? Okay, you can leave the class. Thank you.